are you guys? Are you here at BYU, Hawaii?
Huh?
Are you here at BYU?
Yeah.
I can hear.
Cool. Well, should we just start talking about it?
I don't know. She's loading. Do we have to wait for her?
I don't know.
She sent a message.
Yeah, let me send her one on Canvas. But I think we can just she can join if she decides to. But if
not, did I just clock out?
yeah, let's just start talking, and if she decides to join in, she can.
Cool.
Yeah, let's do this.
So, how'd you guys like the book?
Cool.
It was very long.
It was long, but I liked it. What did you think? I found it.
Yeah, it was nice though. I like the story.
I actually read it this summer. So
You read it already?
Yeah, I read a lot of books.
Mm-hmm.
So I read it over the summer. So for this, I kind of just skimmed through the chapters and bullet pointed because I already read actually the whole.
It was kind of a faster read for me. Just it felt really fast, but it was good. I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
It's a really different concept, so I like that a lot. No, this is my Google Hangouts. No, you're good.
So we're supposed to answer 4 of the points, right, on the assignment?
Yeah. Wait. So which one of us is gonna be doing? Because only one of us has to write it up and turn it in.
Yeah.
So who would like to do that?
It's only a page, right?
I think so. Yeah. It's only a page summarizing the points that we have to answer.
I think I can do that. I think that'd be fine. Is it tonight? Does somebody know?
What was that?
Is it due tonight?
No, it's due tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
Tomorrow night, yeah.
Yeah, that'll be fine.
Okay, and we can take turns, so it's not always you, unless you like it.
Good one. Cool. Well, let's start answering the questions. Why did Meyer choose to incorporate the story of Cinderella into her story? Why has this fairy tale remained popular for adaptations and retellings over the years?
No, I'm not too sure.
I know.
Well, Cinderella's a classic, but I don't know why it's a classic. Why is Cinderella a classic?
I think that, for me, I struggle with Cinderella because I feel like everything has to do with luck. She doesn't really work for it. So I feel like this was a good, she works hard. She's a feminist, whatever. She can handle it on her own. So I felt like that really added to the Cinderella story because I don't like it very much.
Yeah. I think too, with Cinderella, just as a whole, I think it's relatable in the fact that everyone kind of has their hard days, that sometimes everyone feels picked on at some point or feel like they're being discriminated against. And Cinderella is kind of what we all wish would happen to us, but never does. So that's why it's popular, because it's brings in the feeling of what we wish real life was like, but isn't. But I like the way that they did this one because Cinder is so much more awesome than Cinderella.
Yes.
And I love that about her character. And
the original thing is that she's a cyborg in the story. So yeah, well, always the same thing. She has 2 sisters and the stepmother. But yeah, I'm not really sure like how to explain how like why the author incorporated the story of Cinderella in this story, but I guess it matches.
Yeah. I thought it was interesting that she used like the Asian culture. I don't know a whole lot about it, but like it's
Oh
original
yeah.
or like I think it's original. I'm not sure, but like it's European. I think it's French, maybe. So like I thought it was interesting to add the Asian culture into that.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's true.
So that made it more interesting to me.
Yeah, it's like it's a twist in all the ways. It's like has a fantasy sci-fi twist that Cinderella doesn't have. It has a cultural twist, and then it like twists like how and why Cinderella was discriminated against in the first place. Because it's like, oh, she's discriminated just because she's a stepdaughter, but no, now she's discriminated against because she's a cyborg, and they don't think they have rights.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's like a big thing for me is like I felt like they were talking about discrimination a lot, which is something that happens today. Like people are all up in arms about it and it's something that we all struggle with. So I like or not all struggle with, but like we're hearing it about it on the news or whatever. And so I think she played that up perfectly where it wasn't races against each other. It was like different
Oh,
the class, like higher class. There's a cyborgs, there's humans, there's yeah, lunars.
yeah. I think there was even like a little bit of like racial discrimination against lunars, even though like they're supposed to be evil, but they're like, oh, lunars are evil because their queen is evil. But it mentioned how like the queen takes over her people by brainwashing them too. So there's lots of discrimination in this book.
That's true.
Should we do the next question?
Yeah. What do you think are the audience and purpose of Cinder? How was it received and why?
It's kind of like for everyone, but I'm not sure.
I think that Cinder is probably like a young adult novel because the character is like 16 and 17, like in that age range. So it's probably meant for like the younger, like adult, like
For the youth,
audience.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. And like, I think that it's more like geared towards girls just because it's a girl main character and like she's super strong and independent. So like, I think it's more like that. And I think that every girl kind of wants to feel empowered. And I think that's what it does here is like, yeah, you can be a princess, you can, whatever. Like we're all princesses kind of thing. Like she's a cyborg, she does everything for herself and she's still a princess and she still, goes for what she wants. So
Yeah. Yeah. And that's the second part of the question. I think it works. I feel empowered when I read about butt-kicking cyborgs gonna take over New Beijing.
yeah. I know, it made me kind of sad, like that she was so down on herself. Like I almost wish she was a little bit more like confident and like used her cyborgness. And I know this is just the first book, so it's like probably in the second book she had something different and like maybe she's more confident. But yeah, I just felt like that's the way it could go.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's always scared in the story.
Yeah.
She was scared, but she still like do what she has to do.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like facing your fears. I think it kind of reminds me of when we read American Born Chinese. Because he's like ashamed of being Chinese and he wants to be something different. And Cinder is ashamed of being a cyborg, so she pretends not to be one.
Yeah. Yeah.
Moral story: accept your culture.
Moral of all the stories: be who you are. Yeah, I agree.
Don't change for other people, even if it's a handsome prince.
I know. Which I was kinda ticked to the ending when he didn't like help her out more. I was like, really? But I kind of get it. Like, I know it's a series, so he probably, in the end, he probably gets a girl. But
It's true, he does. What? They're not gonna read the rest of it, are you?
well, I kind of knew that. You know, Cinderella. But yeah, I was kind of like at the ending. I was like, what? They're not even gonna wrap it up, Eddie. Yeah.
Yeah. It was kind of like the perfect setup for the next book, and I feel like kind of a cheater because I know all that happens. But in the next book, it takes off like exactly where it left off.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
It's pretty awesome.
there you go. Perfect. Yeah, I really liked it. I would say that she's pretty confident, like as Cinderella goes. Because I was thinking, I was like, back to the Disney movie, like with the mice and she's so not even not confident, just like passive. And I really like that Cinder's like, okay, we can do this myself. I'm gonna get to the ball by myself. I'm gonna go make money by myself, like all this stuff. And just like that was an improvement for me. So I feel like that would be why people would like it, going back to the question.
Mm-hmm. True.
Yeah, she's so humble. She doesn't want to bother people and just stay like with her android.
Yeah. Next question?
Yep. I think we covered it pretty thoroughly. Let me see. What is it?
Societal attitudes.
Pull it up. Oh, Jill said something. What? Like, I think. Where'd she go?
What?
Are you back?
Are you there? Yes, I'm back. I'm at the school and their Wi-Fi keeps going out, so hopefully that doesn't happen.
I know it's so annoying.
But yeah, cool.
So I think this one is. Or pull it up. What social attitudes, values, or ideas are conveyed and challenged in this book?
I think that, like we were saying, like prejudice is so easy to slip into, because even though Cinder is like, from the very beginning, she's like down on the lower ranks or whatever, like she's kind of oppressed.
Mm-hmm.
She, with the Lunars, she's like, yeah, they're the disgusting people. Like, I don't want any part of it, whatever. And it shows how easily we can slip into prejudice without even meaning to. Like,
It's true.
It's true, yeah.
I think that's true. I also think what was the word? I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought.
no, it's okay.
My roommate is yelling at me.
You know when the Dr. Erlen discovers that she's perfect for like she's a cyborg, and like he needs her for the how do you say lithomosis cure?
Yeah.
For the test. I feel like that's the part when she feels more like important. Like before that, she felt kind of useless in the story.
Yeah.
Then when she When she
Hello.
discovered.
Sorry
Oh,
that was
hey.
camera. We just moved and I can't get my camera working right.
It's all good.
Hopefully it'll stay. Hi.
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 Letting me join the conversation. Okay, let's see. Okay, so tell me what you guys are talking about.
We are on.
Can you hear me?
The societal attitudes.
Sorry. Go ahead. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Yeah, go ahead and talk. I'll figure this out.
Or
Whatever.
Where'd it go?
So what were you guys talking about? Sorry. There.
We are on question 3 and talking about the different themes in Cinder, the book.
Cool.
So, what was our last thought? What were we?
I think Jade was saying something, but I can't remember.
Yeah.
What were you talking about?
I was
Jane?
talking about. I kind of forgot.
Were you talking about the doctor and when she felt like needed?
Oh yeah. Yeah, she felt before meeting the doctor, she felt useless in the story because she's poor, she's a cyborg, she's like an adoptive child and she doesn't have any background or she doesn't know who her parents are or anything like this. And then when she met the doctor, he told her that she was like I don't know how to explain. Like she was perfect for the litmus test and that they're gonna pay her if she stays for the test because she's immune to the disease.
Yeah.
So I feel like she felt more useful. I don't know.
I think so. I think that kind of leads into another theme they had too, was like loyalty, because Kai was loyal to his country even above like his love for Cinder, even though it's like still kind of a crush. And then Cinder was loyal to Peony throughout, even like after Peony died, she like saved her ID tag and was like, "You can't have this because this is my sister, and I don't want you to use it for adverse things."
Yeah. I agree. Like even the family values, like that was really important in the like to the grand scheme of things. Like Kai was super loyal to hers, even though they were like badly to like the Lunars like oppose everything the Earth people, or at least like the Queen does. She opposes everything, so her family doesn't matter to her. And I felt like that was the root of the conflict. Was like, look at what she did to her family and her people, and people like, that are supposed to mean something to you. Like no loyalty.
Yeah. It's like she killed her own family.
Yeah.
That's not a good thing.
No.
Don't follow the example.
Oh yeah. Anyway. Okay.
Yeah, I think that's
Are we good?
like you guys are talking about loyalty. You guys are bringing up really awesome themes, and it makes me think of, so there's like loyalty to each other, like Kai and Cinder kind of have this loyalty to each other, but then there's the family loyalties, but then there's also this national loyalty, and I don't know, that's so interesting. There's like so many different levels. What do you think the author like wants to show by talking about those different kinds of loyalties? What do you think she's trying to say? Like, do you think she's challenging certain types of loyalties or showing that some of them are better than others?
Maybe she wants to show like how people can be treated differently according to their like social status.
I think like different relationships have like different levels of loyalty. So like Kai feels more loyal to his country above like his own desires and Cinder's desires, because he's looking at like a whole country full of people he has to save versus his own happiness and Cinder's happiness. So it's like the levels of importance, maybe.
Yeah. And like also people use that loyalty against them. Like Cinder felt so loyal to like her, well, Peony and Eco, that she wouldn't leave, like she wouldn't dare leave without them. Or the Lunar Queen against Kai, to use his loyalty to his people to get what she wanted. Like I feel like that's a pattern a little bit, like using that against people.
Yeah, totally. I wonder what she's like. I don't know. That's so interesting because it makes for a really interesting story, and it makes for a good complex plot. But I wonder if there's something like underlying that. You know what I mean? I wonder what message she's trying to send, because that's like a huge theme in the book, is all those different loyalties. And especially like Kai, he has that national loyalty that's really important. And that's also kind of family loyalty because he's part of the royal family. You know, he's loyal to his family when he's loyal to his country. But the queen, she's kind of evil because she doesn't, because she uses those loyalties to manipulate people. So, I don't know, maybe the author's saying that it's good to be loyal, but it also like makes us vulnerable in a way. Like it makes the characters vulnerable when because they're loyal to their family or to their country or to their friends, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Or like maybe he's playing with the idea of like loyalty can be a weakness or a strength. Like Levana, she thinks that loyalty is not a strength, it's a weakness. And I know that Kai and Cinder don't see this, but like their loyalties make them stronger and push them to do things because they want to do things, not because they have to. So
yeah, I feel like Lavanna is not really loyal to anyone besides herself. I feel like that can be maybe reflected in her people, or
yeah,
I don't know, like if she's loyal to no one, then probably no one is truly loyal to her unless they're like wealthy and getting paid by her or something.
yeah, right. Or they don't want to get killed, get murked.
Yeah.
So, oh, cool. We move on to the next question. Is that cool? Okay. How does Cinder challenge conventional literary forms and genres?
Well, I mean, it's a fairy tale retelling, but it's in space. Well, not in space in this book, but it has like a space element.
It's like
Yeah.
futuristic,
Yeah. With like sci-fi.
science fiction.
Yeah.
Not like your traditional Cinderella story where she goes to the ball in a pumpkin carriage.
Yeah. But I like that they kind of twisted the ideas, but they were still there. Like she compared her car to a pumpkin before she like fixed it up. I was like, that's gonna be her carriage, you know, like I see that. But like then the carriage breaks down before she even gets to the ball. Like I don't know, they've like just twisted it a little bit. Like this wouldn't actually work. Like you can't actually ride a pumpkin into a ball.
Yeah. She got close. She almost got there.
Close. Close, but
Not close enough.
not close. Anyway, so those are my thoughts.
Something that's different is also the prince, Because in the real story, like the original story, he doesn't like abandon her. But here she's really like he abandons her and she has to do things by herself. Like she can't count on anyone. It's not like the perfect fairy tale.
It's like life. Life is never a perfect fairy tale.
Yeah.
And princes are. But I don't know, because it's just like it's the form of it is just a typical chapter book. But also, I liked that they had shorter chapters, and then they switched perspective between the prince and Cinder. I thought that like it was a good twist from his perspective, sometimes from hers. Yeah.
Yeah.
Why do you think she chose to, like, what parts of the story do you feel like she changed? You know how we talked about that the prince didn't, you know, come rescue her. He kind of abandoned her and she had to take care of things on her own. So what's different in this story from the fairy tale, and why do you think Meyer chose to change, you know, what we're familiar with about the plot line of Cinderella?
Maybe to make it more relatable, like our day. And it's a YA novel, so definitely to keep it interesting, like switch it up from what it was before.
Yeah, I think that some Cinderella story can see the misogynistic kind of like man, oh, this prince swoops in and saves her, and she leaves the shoe and he finds her, and her fairy godmother just gives her all this stuff. And I think that somebody looking at that story is like, no, I don't want a heroine like that. Like, that's boring. And to vamp it up with like her being a cyborg and her being from space and all that stuff, it's just extra to her personality, which is independence. And even the prince leaving her at the end, I think that's a good choice because then she has to do everything on her own. It's not like he just came in and saved the day and like, oh, I'll get you out of jail, I'm the prince. Because he does that throughout the story, but it's never really like life or death situation for her specifically because of that.
How did that make you guys feel when you were reading it? Like, I know it's all empowering and stuff that she gets to go do everything on her own, but like, I don't know, did you get kind of mad at the prince? I was kind of like, come on, do something about it. Like, get with the program, Prince. You can at least help a little bit, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know, what was your gut reaction when the story didn't follow the plot line of Cinder? Like, did you really like it? Like, Carly, like you were saying, like, I was like, yeah, we don't need the prince. Or did you kind of, I don't know, what was your reaction?
I was kind of surprised. I thought that he was just gonna like accept her the way she is and still like her.
I thought it was. I liked it actually. It was a little bit more realistic because he's not. Like, I was disappointed that he didn't save her, but at the same time, I understood why. Because he's not just worrying about his own happiness or hers. He's worrying about like the people dying every day from this disease, and he's worried about Earth being taken over by this evil space queen. And so there's a lot that's falling down around him. So I understand why, even though I wish that he had stood up a little bit more. But I feel like that gave a lot more room for Cinder's character to grow more than it would if he had saved her.
Yeah, I think so too. I was kind of like, the prince doesn't get it. But like at the same time, I'm like, well, good for her. Like she can go off and do this thing and she doesn't need any help. But yeah, I was kind of like, he's preaching about like, oh, we should love everybody, or like, I guess he hasn't preached that, but like that's kind of the vibe you get, like, oh, I don't care like what you look like or who you are. And then at the end he's like, oh my gosh, I can never. Anyway, so interesting development.
Yeah, I think so. I don't know. I don't think he was like. I think he was more repulsed by Cinder being a lunar than he was about her being a cyborg, but at the same time, it's understandable because he's grown up thinking that lunars were evil. So it's like that. It's not only like he decided to be prejudiced against lunars, it's like it's a cultural, like, earthen imprint on everyone who has lived since lunars have become lunars. Everyone is prejudiced against lunars because they think they're going to take over their minds and wage war. So
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, I understand when he's like, you're a lunar, did you lie to me this whole time? But at the same time, it's like, we know from her perspective, but he doesn't. So she could have been tricking him the whole time, and the only reason we know that he wasn't was because we were reading from her perspective.
That's true.
It was probably more the fact that he lied to her. She lied to him. Because he was kind of like trusting her.
Yeah, I agree. What are you gonna do? There has to be a misunderstanding at some point, though. So I understand, like, for the sake of the book, it can't end like happily ever after if there's gonna be 3 more books. So I understand the mechanical like purpose of it, but yeah, I was kind of like, of course.
The story becomes much more epic after the first book.
Really, I'll have to read. I thought it was interesting. I might read some more, but
Yeah, that's what I thought. I mean, before I started teaching this class, I hadn't read this book, and I was so excited to get to the end, and I'm like, really? This is like just barely scraping the start of the story. You know what I mean? That's really frustrating. So sorry for putting you all through that, but
It's okay.
eventually we can read the rest and enjoy
I
it.
actually already read all of it.
You have?
Yeah.
How many books are there?
There is 4, but then there's a companion novel that talks about Levant's backstory, which isn't really redeeming anyway. And then there's like short stories at the end, like a whole book of short stories that talks about what happens to characters like before, during, and even after like all this is done.
You think it was worth it, like, to read it? Did you like it all?
I liked it a lot, actually. It's a really popular. I'm a reader, so I'm into like the reader communities with like fantasy and YA. So it's actually a really popular story, and I thought it was worthwhile in the end.
Yeah, there's a lot of fan fiction and stuff, huh?
Yeah.
Like, and there's some people that really like it.
Yeah, I've never read the fan fiction.
yeah, I liked it. I thought it was a little bit slow, but that's my only complaint, and a little bit heavy-handed with the pandering. But I can see as like a young adult, they really want to be like, here's my message, but like I was like, you can back off. But as a young adult, I think that would be so. Well,
Next question.
next question. Do we need to do all of them, or have we?
No, just 4. You can, I mean, the next ones I kind of just put in for fun, so you don't have to do them. Is there anything that, like I really want these hangouts to also be a place where you guys can get ready for your papers. So the next paper is really going to be just a basic analysis paper. And you guys are lucky because you have an English major in your group. So you can ask, I don't know, questions or, because the point of an analysis paper is really to find a thesis statement about a message that you find in the book, a message about one of the main themes, and then find really specific examples throughout the book to support that. And that's hard in a novel that's over 300 pages long, because then you have to go back and like try to find your quotes and stuff. So I don't know. You guys have been on here a while. Oh yeah, like over a half an hour. So you can totally be done, but you can also like tell each other what you wanted to talk about in your papers, or you can whatever. I want you guys to make the Hangouts as useful as possible for you, and yeah, don't have to answer every question. That's sorry, I'm making this really long, but yeah.
I think it's a good idea. Like the Hangouts idea is really cool. I don't know. I haven't decided on my paper yet, but I think I'm going to talk about somehow I'm going to tie it into like how the original folklore focuses on how lucky she is. Like she kind of depends on luck. Like her fairy godmother shows up, a prince finds her. She just happens to be at the right place at the right time just by like purely being virtuous. But like this story kind of plays up like she had to work for everything, like even her reputation, to get to like a head mechanic, and then Kai finds her through that. Like everything makes sense.
And I didn't think about this till you said that, but she was totally in the wrong place at the wrong time. Like instead of being lucky, like all of this started out because she was in the wrong place at the wrong time. And then we find out her backstory and realize that even before she was in the wrong place at the wrong time when she had that accident. So yeah, there's a lot you could play off of there.
Yeah, so I think that's kind of where I'm going.
Cool.
I'm writing that down.
Oh, I like it.
So those are my. Yeah.
I'm not really sure where I'm going with mine.
Yeah, no worries. You don't have to be sure. But you've read it a long time ago, so you've got lots you can work with, I'm sure.
Yeah, but it's difficult working on just the first book when it's only like the 10% of the whole story is the first book.
Yeah, I bet. That would be hard.
Well, I actually have to get to work, so.
Working this late at night?
I know. It's for the Reading Writing Center. So if you guys want to come, we're talking about reading strategies. It's a workshop. So.
Great. Cool.
Yeah, so if you want to come, that's cool. It's at 9:30, but I have to like prepare all my stuff, so I'm gonna get going.
Awesome. Well, thank you. Thanks for letting me join in, you guys.
Yeah, it was fun.
Thank you.
All right.
Nice to meet everybody.
Oh, we'll see you later.
Bye.